Good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel Icewind. So let's start the Hindu editorial analysis for the day. First topic is India's dilemma navigating geopolitical crossroads. Second is Himalayan states balancing environmental concerns and development priorities. Third, building a comprehensive social security net for India's workforce. First topic is covered under section GS paper 2 International Relations. Keywords will be used: NAM, multipolar world, SCO, G7, G20. So let's start the discussion. Context: the impending BRICS Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa summit in Johannesburg, scheduled from August 22 to August 24, will serve as a critical assessment of Indian diplomacy, shedding light on potential future geopolitics. India faces the task of navigating between a world order centered around China or the West, or striving to find a balance between the two. Challenges and prospects of the BRICS bloc. The capacity of the BRICS to significantly reshape the global economy is questionable. It demonstrates limited interest in forging economic agreements among its members, and its historical ability to impact global geopolitics might be overstated. Furthermore, as a collective entity, it doesn't particularly attract investment. Currently, the BRICS seems to be more reactive and revisionist, revisionist than proactive and clear headed about its objectives. The gap between aspiration and reality within the BRICS Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa grouping is particularly wide, originally intended as a challenge to the global order, aiming to reshape development and power dynamics. The BRICS lacks a cohesive foundation. Its initial purpose was to counterbalance the West, but it lacked a shared enemy or common values. While it positioned itself as a platform for development alternatives, it failed to propose concrete alternatives to the existing global system. The initial enthusiasm around its formation in 2009 during the global economic crisis provided a temporary socialization mechanism independent of the West, but the absence of a clear purpose now troubles the BRICS. The idea of rebalancing against the Western dominated developmental order is significant but complicated by recent developments. The call for rebalancing now includes China as a strategic and economic rebalancing class, drawing countries closer to the Western orbit. China's dominance raises concern not only about the West but also about a strategic alignment with China itself. Climate change is a paramount global challenge. Efforts to climate financing lag unity among developing countries. Interestingly, the outcome now hinges on innovating measures in the US and China, with institutional mechanisms falling short. This dynamic complicates the effort of rebalance power towards developing nations. The BRICS face limitations. Currency matters lack consensus and big potential role in promoting in-depth development. Multilateral cooperation and climate action is constrained by China's stance and the breakdown of the open trading system. Research and innovation cooperation falters among BRICS nations. With the exception of China and alternative institutions, the BRICS sought to create have not materialized effectively. The BRICS, originally envisioned as an force for rebalancing, now serves more for socialization and diplomatic engagement. Amid escalating great power competition, global stability is at risk. The BRICS lacks the impact of the non alignment movement, and its potential as a solution is overshadowed by its role as a symptom of global dysfunction. Potential impact on world politics. However, the BRICS holds the potential to evolve into a force capable of influencing the trajectory of world politics. Recent geopolitical shifts and challenges faced by the United Nations system have provided renewed significance to the BRICS. It proposes it possesses a broader global representation compared to the UN Security Council and G7, although it lags behind the G20, which is Western dominated. Consequently, the choices made by the BRICS during the summit and beyond could have far reaching implications for the international order. BRICS as an alternative path to global governance, filling the vacuum of Western led global governance given the under, undemocratic nature of the current global governance structure. There is a void that forums like BRICS could potentially fill, even though their advocacy might be in a question. Around 40 countries have shown interest in joining an expanded BRICS, reflecting a deep seated dissatisfaction among global South countries about their global standing. Addressing underrepresentation underrepresentation of middle and regional powers. Amid the uncertainties in the global geopolitical landscape, countries with moderate power and regional influence are considering their options. These nations could leverage forums like BRICS to navigate global geopolitical challenges and exert influence. The BRICS has been revitalized by the Ukraine conflict and China's growing prominence, facilitating genuine conversations on global issues. Many countries, especially those in the global south, often find themselves marginalized in discussions about critical global issues like climate change and cybersecurity. Platforms like the BRICS offer the flexibility necessary to address these issues effectively. India's complex dilemma. Unclear geopolitical position. For India, the current global geopolitical situation presents intricate choices. It's unclear where India fits in the global order. Western perspectives often associate India's membership in BRICS and the SCO with its stance on the Ukraine conflict and its standoff with Russia. Balancing involvement in the Quad, G20, G7, BRICS, SCO, and the global South simultaneously poses a challenge. Balancing geopolitical fault lines amid China's rise. India's geopolitical position is complex due to its historical, developmental, and geographical ties to BRICS, SCO, and the global south. However, it also aligns structurally and aspirationally with G20, G7, and the Quad. Straddling with emerging geopolitical fault line requires New Delhi to be both a bridge and the balance player to avoid becoming a victim of growing geopolitical contestations. Multipolarity and the challenge of rising blocs. Rise of competitive blocs, a significant concern in the evolving global geopolitics, is the emergence of competing blocs. As China and Russia align their interests, the organizations they are part of could clash with the status quo led by the US and its allies. India has historically advocated for multipolarity based on equity, inclusion, and representation. Managing the China factor. Amid this, India must continuously assess whether its actions in pursuit of a multipolar world inadvertently contribute to China's global ascendancy. While a multipolar world requires alternative forums, these very platforms could bolster China's influence, making it challenging for India to match. Strengthening non Western institutions could paradoxically aid China's revis- revis- revisionist agenda. The choice ahead for India. India's overarching goal should be the promotion of a more inclusive and representative global governance system. It needs to manage China's influence in non Western forums while engaging with Eurocentric platforms like the UNSC and G7. Striking this balance ensures that India's national interests are safeguarded while contributing to a more democratic international order. Conclusion. In the realm of global governance, a collection of imperfect institutions that reflect the current realities hold more promise than a single imperfect situation that doesn't align with today's world. Imperfections with international politics are preferable to hegemonic dominance. India's role should involve asserting its position in global forums without aligning itself with a specific bloc. Second topic, Himalayan state balancing environmental concerns and development priorities. It is covered under paper 3, GS paper 3, environment sustainable development. Keywords will be used like development, environmental impact, energy security versus environmental fragility, eco-sensitivity zone ESZ, glacial lake outburst flood GLOF. Context: recent natural disasters such as landslides, cloudbursts, and subsidence have ignited debates on whether the fragile Himalayan ecosystem can withstand rapid development. It delves into the complex interplay between environmental concerns and development aspiration in the Himalayan states, examining various arguments, challenges, and potential solutions. Environmental preservation versus development. Environmental imperatives. The Himalayan region, with its intricate network of rivers, including the Ganga, Ganges, Indus, and Brahmaputra, sustains a massive population and facilitates economic growth. However, recent catastrophes have underscored the urgency of prioritizing environmental conservation over unchecked development. Disasters like the Josimat subsidence could intensify the region's vulnerability, making development's toll on the environment more pronounced. Development's environmental impact. The ongoing construction of dams, encroachments on river beds, and mining operations have invited environmental concerns. There exist approximately 70 ongoing or planned projects along the Ganga River, which is characterized as bumper to bumper development. Many projects lack comprehensive environmental impact studies, raising questions about the sustainability of these endeavors. Alarming, numerous dams are being built along rivers like Ganga, potentially disrupting their flow and causing irreversible ecological damage. The occurrence of a glacial lag outburst flood GLOF in 2021, characterized by the descent of boulders and debris from the mountains, serves as an additional indication that the intricate equilibrium of natural forces has seen has been perturbed. Consequently, the Himalayan states are currently experiencing the consequences of this disruption. Hydropower as a boon or a curse. Energy security versus environmental fragility. Hydropower, often touted as a renewable energy source, plays a significant role in the energy mix of Himalayan countries. However, the construction of hydropower projects in geological unstable regions have sparked controversy. A Supreme Court committee attributed the 2013 Uttarakhand floods partly to hydropower dams. The environmental implications of these projects must be weighed against their energy benefits, especially in the face of challenging energy demands. Development versus conservation. As the proportion of hydropower in India's energy composition declines, alternative energy sources like solar power gain prominence. Balancing development with environmental preservation require a fine line between meeting energy demands and safeguarding delicate ecosystems. The Char Dham Highway project exemplifies the challenge of infrastructure development in environmentally sensitive areas. It is expected to facilitate convenient military passage to India's border with China. According to an environmentalist who chaired a commission ordered by the Supreme Court to investigate the project, the act of cutting down trees intensifies existing risks such as landslides, geopolitical complexities, climate change, and boundaries. The Himalayas serve as geopolitical boundaries between nations, making shared resources like water contentious subjects. An agreement was made by the 8 nations in the Himalayan region to collaborate on climate action. However, it is widely argued that the effectiveness of collaboration and information exchange about matters such as river flows is impeded by strategic considerations and a sense of distrust. Climate change exacerbates existing tensions, intensifying struggles over resources. The entanglement of geopolitics and environmental concerns adds another layer of complexity to the region's challenges. Several nations in the Himalaya experiences persistent water scarcity. According to data from the World Bank, the United States possesses over 2.3 million gallons of renewable freshwater resources per individual annually. In contrast, China has 528,000 gallons, India has 264,000 gallons, and Pakistan has less than 79,000 gallons of renewable freshwater resources per person. The escalating demand for water to support the expansion of urban areas, agricultural activities, and industrial operations places further pressure on the river traversing these political and stable regions. Tourism, waste, and sustainable development. Tourism boom and ecological consequences. The Himalayan region attracts millions of tourists annually, boosting local economies but also generating sustainable waste. According to projections, the number of tourists visiting the hill states is expected to reach 240 million annually by the year 2025, a significant increase from the record figure of 100 million in 2018. Failure to handle the issue of solid waste disposal in scientific manner may have detrimental consequences for the delicate environment in the Himalayas, which the country cannot afford to bear. Considering the fact that the primary sources of a significant glacier rivers can be traced back to these mountain ranges, it is not orders to envision the potentially disastrous consequences that may arise. The influx of visitors lead to increased pollution, deforestation, and infrastructure development. Balancing tourism driven growth with environmental sustainability demands innovative waste management strategies and regulations to preserve fragile ecosystems. Regulation and preservation. Regulation of operations in the region is essential with a focus on maintaining vegetation cover in valleys to mitigate climate change impacts. According to a report released by Niti Aayog in 2018, a significant concern has been raised regarding the potential depletion of around 60% of water resources in the Indian Himalayan region. Therefore, it is imperative to sustain a substantial vegetation cover in the Himalayan region as well. In order to address this matter, it is recommended that the upper stretch of Himalayan valleys be designated as an eco-sensitive zone (ESZ). Proposed eco-sensitive zones could protect these vital ecosystems. Addressing the waste generated by both tourism and urban populations requires a comprehensive approach, considering long-term viability and ecological fragility. Conclusion: the Himalayan states stand at a crossroads, facing the intricate challenges of harmonizing environmental preservation and development goals. While hydropower could contribute to energy security, its environmental repercussions demand careful consideration. Collaborating efforts among neighboring countries are essential to combat climate change effects. The delicate balance between tourism driven growth and environmental conservation must be upheld through sustainable policies. In navigating the complex terrain, the Himalayan states must chart a path to safeguard these fragile ecosystems for generations to come. Third editorial is building a comprehensive social security net for India's workforce. We will cover this topic further, but right now I am giving you a question related to topics covered. Explore the interplay between environmental concerns and developmental priorities in the Himalayan states. Analyze the potential consequences of unchecked development on fragile ecosystem. Discuss the strategies to achieve sustainable development while preserving the environment. It is a 10 mark question. You have to answer within 150 words in comment section below. Here is another question. Examine the role of Himalayan hydropower projects in ensuring energy security. Considering their environmental impact, use the 2013 Uttarakhand flood as a case study. How can policymakers meet energy needs without harming the Himalayan ecosystem? So, the topic of discussion is building a comprehensive social security net for India's workforce. It is related with GS paper to social security, social justice, keywords like PLFS, Periodic Labor Force Survey 2021, Old Age Security, Code on Social Security 2020, and CAG, Comptroller Auditor General of India. Building a strong social security system for India's workforce. Understanding social security. Social security is like a safety net for people and families in India. It helps protect them from problems like old age, sickness, disability, employment and unemployment, and poverty. It's like a support system that everyone should have. Indian government efforts. The government has tried to help with social security through different programs. For example, Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana. This helps people in jobs save money for their old age. National Pension Scheme. This is for traders and employed people. PMJJBY and PMSBY. These provide insurance in case of accidents or deaths. Atal Pension Yojana. It is another pension plan. NSK, FDC, and other schemes. These focus on specific groups like sanitation workers. The problem today. Sadly, many workers don't have these benefits. Reports show that about 53% of people with regular jobs don't get these social security benefits. Even gig workers and those in the informal sector are left out. This creates big inequalities. Why it is a problem? Without social security, people face a lot of challenges. They don't have money saved for hard times, like when they are old or sick. This makes life very tough for them and their families. Historical neglect. In the past, not enough attention was given to creating a strong social security system. The money set aside for this was often not used properly. This means many programs didn't work as they should. Learning from other countries. Looking at Brazil's social security system can give us ideas. It covers a lot of problems like accidents, illness, and even loss of income due to jail time. India could adopt successful ideas like this. Challenges and solutions. Most of India's workforce is informal, so they need social security too. India is also getting older, so we need to think about older workers. The code on social security is a step forward, but it mostly helps formal workers. To make social security better, we need to include informal workers too. Step to improve. We can make things better by expanding current programs for formal workers, getting informal workers to contribute a bit to their security, encouraging informal businesses to become formal, helping those without jobs. It might cost some money, but it's important to help those with who need it, making existing program better. We have some good programs like Employees Provident Fund and State Insurance Scheme, but there is a problem with how they work. We can fix this by involving employers more and making programs simpler. Special care for vulnerable workers. Workers like domestic and migrant workers need special attention. Domestic workers need protection from losing their jobs suddenly. Migrant workers should have access to services even in new places. Spreading the word. We need to tell people about these programs so they can benefit. Organizations can help spread this knowledge, especially among women. In conclusion, India needs a strong social security system that covers everyone. It's time to put aside old ideas and make sure all workers have support. This will make sure that an India grows, everyone benefits, and has a secure future. Main question for the day. How does the summit serve as a pivotal stress test for Indian diplomacy, indicating potential future trajectories in geopolitics? 10 marker question, 150 words. How does India grapple with the complex challenges of balancing its engagement in both China centric and West centric world order dynamics within the context of the BRICS framework? 15 marker question, 250 words. You have to answer in comment section below. Thank you.